Welcome guys, to the final episode in our endeavor to find the best, the most overpowered, the most dominant, perhaps the most broken tank in each class, in each tier. We have done tier 10, 9, 8, and 7. We're working on tier 6 today. We're finishing up the series. We've already looked at light tanks, the Type 64, dominant light tank, medium tanks, T-3485M, broken. Heavy tanks, KV2, best tier 6 heavy tank. TDs, well, no overpowered or broken one, just a lot of random results depending on how good the player drives the tank. SPGs, let's look at SPGs. Let's sort this. We're on the World of Tanks replays website here where thousands of people load their replays, thousands, and we have sorted on tier 6 SPGs. Let's sort these. Shall we sort for damage assist? No, that's a fake stat. Let's sort on damage. All SPGs need to do is damage. Sit at the back and farm damage. Let's look at the top 10 results for this patch. The SU8, number 1 result. M44, second highest result. FV304, third highest result. M44, 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 and say it with me, M44, M44. Dominating at tier 6 SPGs with 8 of the 10 is the M44, as the American SPGs dominate every tier. Surprisingly, SU8 with the best game so far. Let's watch these two games, these two top games, and talk about the results a little bit more. We're going to watch the SU8, the Russian tier 6 SPG, driven by Reciprocity TN, who's going to, we're going to enjoy watching him play the highest damage game played this patch with a tier 6 SPG. Now, I've done this series for tier 10, 9, 8, 7, and now tier 6. And without fail, in every tier, in the SPG category, the American SPGs dominate all the results, the top damage results for every tier. Even tier 10. Yes, when I sorted tier 10, it was dominated by the Churchill gun carriage, or the Conquer gun carriage. But then when I look closely at those results, they were all clan war games. Clan war games. And when you watch the games, you see the clans, all 15 of them, huddled together behind a couple of rocks, waiting for the commander to tell them what to do beside the base for 14 minutes. Clan war games are different. And in Clan Wars, people play the British tier 10 artillery because it has the most ammunition and can shoot over and over and over again at stationary targets behind cover. And in Clan Wars, there are a lot of stationary targets when the whole clan just sits by the cap and waits and defends. So when we looked at those results a little closer, it was the American T92 that had dominated the top results for pub games, where you don't normally get the whole team stationary for 14 minutes in one position, where you could splash 6 of them at the same time over and over and over again. Look at that. He just walloped that guy for over 400. Now, I don't know much about this particular SPG. I've never played it. I entered the Russian SPG line at tier 7 with the the S51. It used to come off the KV2. If you had a KV2, you could research the first Russian SPG, and then you could use that tier 7 SPG to complete all the SPG missions. It has a tier 9 or 10 gun on it. And that's what I did, but now they've changed the tech tree and you can no longer do that. And I guess people have to work their way up, I guess. But I've never played this one. And I'm watching the game here, and I'm noticing that he's moving his, he's following this target. And even when he's traversing his hull here, see, he's traversed his hull now. His gun arc is narrow. He's traversed his hull, he's following the target, and it's like you don't have to aim. And I've seen this, we talked about this last series, even though the Russian SPGs have the narrow gun arc, you see the V on the map, the white, the two lines, they represent how much his gun can arc to the left and right without moving his hull. Even though it's narrow and you may have to move your hull, even when he moves his hull, he's completely aimed in like a few seconds. He's got the aim time of my Leopard. Look at this. He's completely aimed. Now, he's using the G key, and he's using this mode here where... And I find this a little bit difficult. Oh, he actually hit the edge of his gun arc and twitched the mouse, but it still hit. I don't like using this mode. Well, I use it, but then I switch to aerial mode. Oh, he's going to a double hit there. Two Muppets side by side. I switch from aerial mode to this mode. Just to check, because when you play this mode, you notice he's not getting the enemy tank outline, and he's not fully zoomed in either. He's obviously played many games, and he knows what he's doing, so he can estimate where to shoot. There you go, boom. Critical hit, direct hit. He knows what he's doing. For me, or for a beginner, if you're playing SPGs, know that you can switch to aerial mode, and then you'll get the enemy outline. You'll know whether the trajectory of your shell is going to go through the enemy tank. You'll see that in aerial mode. He's playing it mostly, what do you call this mode? I don't know, shotgun mode or whatever you call it, right? He's playing most of the mode like this. Now look, he's traversed his tank, and he's just aimed. Typical stat for the Russian SPGs is that regardless of what the numbers say, you can aim your gun the fastest with the Russian SPGs. From, let's say, from the furthest west point of the map to the furthest east point of the map, the Russian one is the one that can like re-aim to the other side of the map, traverse the hull or not, and aim fully. The Russian one does it the quickest. Even though some of the other nations have a wider gun arc or even a fully traversable turret, like the French Bat Chat at tier 10. So is there a broken? Let's get back to the statistics here. Yes, it's broken. Yes, 8 out of 10 in the top 10 damage results. M44. If we looked at the top 100 results, it probably would be 85, 90 out of the top 100 results. The M44. What's the next tier? The M43, 45, the M50, 53. All of them. All the American SPGs are the best, class for class. If you're going to go down an SPG line, go down the American line. It's the best line by every single one, all the way up. Consistently bad all the way up are the French ones. They simply don't do the damage. Look at this. Following that guy and just aiming. That was close. The French ones are consistently bad, and especially when you get to tier 10, you have nothing going for you. You can't damage anyone. Your gun caliber is just you can't do you can't pump out the damage. You can stun people because you have 3 shots, and what you do with the French one is you stun them and then you wait till they're almost unstunned before you shoot the next shot in your clip, and then you stun them again and you wait for them to be almost unstunned. You don't fire as you reload, you fire as they become unstunned, and you can rack up the stun damage. Or you keep someone perma-tracked, at least for 3 shots. But it's very frustrating because you can't do enough damage. The German ones are too slow. They're just too slow in almost every tier. The British ones, all the low tiers, see, if he was playing the British one now, he would not be able to make this shot because he wouldn't have had the range. He would not have been able to shoot that artillery on the A line because he wouldn't have had the range. He'd have to drive almost to the middle of the map, and they're just very frustrating. But it is the artillery of choice for Clan Wars, tier 10. So you got to go through 9 tiers of utter garbage to get the tier 10 so you can use it in Clan Wars. Or you can shoot stationary Muppets. If the enemy team is made up of 15 stationary Muppets, meaning they never move, like this guy, who is learning the reload time of the SU-8, you see? He's thinking, oh, I've got hit. Well, it's really not his fault because he's in a British TD. He can't move. He's learning, what's the reload time of the SU-8? Let's see, it's right about, he's clocking it now. Yeah, you're hit again. That's the reload time. So versus stationary Muppets. I guess any SPG is good, but the best one is in Tier 10 is the British one because you can lob shots even behind cover, which is an advantage only if the enemies stay stationary. If they move at all, it's not really an advantage because it takes your shell twice as long to get there. And this is something I learned by watching SPG replays. It's helped me play my medium and heavy and light tanks. Because I take a look at the in the high tiers, as we watch Reciprocity here just dominate this game. Let's see how much damage. Let's talk about his game for a minute here. It's a victory. How much damage did he do? Let's see here. Post-game stat. Of course, ace tanker, and he did 4,113 damage with a tier 6 artillery. That's just insane. That's just insane. Let me finish my thought and then we'll talk about how insane the lower tier artillery is. But I've learned from watching SPG replays, and we are watching Private Jack Bomber now in his M44. Going to have the second highest damage gain at this patch. What was I saying? I have learned from watching these replays that I'll quickly glance, especially at the high tier, the enemy, you know, the list. And if I happen to see a Conquer gun carriage, if I see the high tier British artillery, then I know that all I have to do, I'm being serious here, guys, even if I take positions of cover and stuff, is just move. I'm behind a rock, so I'm going to move to the left, poke, move back, go back 1 tank width, poke the right side of the rock, move back 1 or 2 tank widths. Move. So continually moving slightly. And what happens is if there is a tier 10 British artillery in the game, he'll get frustrated looking at you and he'll say, oh, I'll never hit him. Because his shell takes 6, 7, 8 seconds to get there. He concentrates on someone he can find that's sitting still. All you got to do is move, and you're pretty much already safe from the high-tier British artillery. The other thing is, I glance at the team list, and if I see a low-tier British artillery, like the Burt, or some of the lower-tier, the FV, whatever the hell they're called, I don't know all the names. But if I see a lower-tier British artillery, I know if I'm playing artillery and I'm going to counter-battery him, he's not at the back. He's not on the 1 line. He's not on the A line or the K line. Because he's moved up, he doesn't have range. So I'm looking for his counter battery shots in very obvious central positions on the map. Or, if I'm in a light tank, or a fast medium tank, I'm going to go find the guy, even near the beginning of the game. I'll go spot him over the center ridge lines. Because they're so easy to kill. Because they have to move up, because they don't have the range. So that's a little aside there. The second thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is just how ridiculous artillery is at the low tiers. And we're looking at tier 6 here. This is when it becomes just ridiculous. That tier for tier, artillery at tier 6 it's all broken. Because we just watched a game, the SU-8, over 4,000 damage at tier 6. And I challenge you guys, even artillery players, to have a 4,000 damage game at tier 9 or tier 10. That's a good game. Even on the extreme case, I play my M53, M55 tier 9 American artillery. That's the best tier 9 artillery. And having a 4,000 damage game is no easy task. It is a really good game. And here we're seeing tier 6s pop off 4,000 damage. How? Like how? And my point is, as a percentage of HP, the tier 6 artilleries do too much damage. You know, he's hitting guys for 200. That wasn't even a big hit. We saw some 400 rolls and 350 rolls. When you're tier 6 and you smack someone for 350 or 400, or you smack some targets that have not very much armor, and let's face it, a lot of tier 5s and 6s and 7s don't have a lot of armor, and you smack them and penetrate them and do your full damage with your tier 6 SPG, as a percentage of their HP, Look at that, smacking them again for 200. It's, as a percentage of their HP, much more devastating than getting smacked at tier 10 for 3 or 4, even 500. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Like, getting hit there for 272. He got smacked for over 200 3 or 4 times in a row. The tier 6 artillery reloads faster. You're smacking people for 200-300 at a time at tier 6? When I know many times, like, look at those 2 shots. It's a 221 and 175. As a percentage of the HP at this tier, that type of damage roll is ridiculous. I've played, you could play, for instance, the Bat Chat tier 10 SPG now. You grind all the way to tier 10, and you take a shot with your tier 10 SPG gun and hit a cluster of medium tanks, and you're going to roll 83 on one, 101 on the other, 52 on one. That's the type of damage roll you get in the Bat Chat tier 10 now. Then you go down to tier 6, even the French tier 6. We're watching an M44 right now, and you take a shot and you roll for 395, 184, 263. Tier for tier, the tier 6 artillery is devastating, and it destroys the game, especially when there's 3 of them per side. Like, let's see. I haven't seen this game before. We're watching this live. Let's see him take a shot here. Boom. Okay. That was a heavy tank, a very heavily armored tank that he hit for about 100. And I don't know. To me, that's probably one of, as I talked about it, we just witnessed one of the lowest rolls he's had because he hit a very heavily armored target. But that's a typical roll in tier 10. Oh, now what is that roll? 300? I can shoot a very heavily armored tier 10 tank with my French tier 10 artillery and roll for 90. You shoot a mouse, you're not going to roll for more than 1 or 2, even 300. As a percentage of HP, that's a lot less. So when wargaming, I use the word in quotation marks here, balanced artillery, and they added this stun mechanic and stuff, I think they didn't decrease the damage rolls enough on the lower tier artillery. And I think this is kind of a ploy to, when you start your grind through artilleries and you play the low tiers, you say, whoa, this is fun. And you keep going. And you're going to grind all the way to tier 10. And in some cases, you get disappointed the higher you go. And a lot of people play the M44 is a beast, right? And the tier 7 American one is a beast. But there you have it. The other thing I should mention, as we're chatting here, is this whole idea of stun assist. I've always skipped that in all these, when we look at the extreme games. Oh, which one gets the most stun assist? I know you get XP and credits and stuff for doing stun assist, but to me it's one of these fake stats that Wargaming has put in there just to keep artillery players happy. Because the way stun assist works is, like, let me summarize it here. Your teammates move up. They spot someone. Let's see how he rolls here. You know, that's too much for tier 6, guys. That's too much, right? 500. Come on. That's ridiculous. No slight on you, Private Jack Bomber. You're having a great game. But I mean, the mechanic is stupid, right? But anyways, what I was going to say, okay, your teammates spot someone. The teammates just spotted this guy, okay? He takes a shot. He takes the shot. He hits them. He does some damage. Now the guy's stunned. His teammates shoot the guy. He gets... Oh, I get stun assist. Oh, I assisted. I get extra XP. I'm so good. What the fuck does that mean? They were going to shoot him anyway. They spotted him, for Christ's sakes. They spotted him in the first place. You shoot. another one shot. Like, it's stupid. You wouldn't have got to shoot the guy in the first place unless your teammates spotted him. And now that you shoot him, all of a sudden he's stunned. So when your teammates who went up there and spotted him in the first place, when they shoot him, you get assist? You're nowhere near the battle. This stun assist is just a, you know, Like, go fuck yourself. I'm going to get more XP than you, even though you're the light tank that moved up there to get the assist. But it's time to relax. Just calm down, Claus. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. If you did, and you want to support the channel, please subscribe. And have a wonderful day. We're just easing out now. We've identified the best tanks, the most OP tanks, the dominant ones, the broken ones at tier 6. And now it's time to just say goodbye and let you guys witness the end of the game here as he takes him out. Thanks for watching, guys. How much damage did he do? Come on, let's see the post-game stats. Ace tanker. Isn't it fun? Not quite 4,000, but that's a lot of freaking damage for tier 6, isn't it? Thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you tomorrow.